Men and women who work the land often can't fix the gear that they use to do the job. Many manufacturers make their products so that only dealerships have access to the tools needed to repair farm equipment.
John Deere has been hiding a secret that's been costing farmers millions and shaking the very foundations of the agricultural industry. For years, John Deere has been the go-to name in farming equipment, with a history that stretches back to the early 80s. But what's happening now has left farmers furious and searching for answers. You might be shocked to learn that despite being the ones who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their tractors, farmers don't actually own the equipment they've bought outright. In fact, they're not even allowed to fix their own machines. Why? Well, that's what we're about to uncover. What's happening? John Deere's story begins in the early 19th century, where it evolved from a modest blacksmith shop to a name synonymous with American farming. John Deere, the man himself, was born in Vermont in 1804 and started his career as a blacksmith. By 1837, Deere's revolutionary invention, the first steel plow, transformed the farming industry. This plow allowed farmers to cut through the thick, sticky soil of the American Midwest with ease, making agriculture more efficient and profitable. From this humble beginning, Deere's company grew into an agricultural titan. By the early 20th century, the company launched its first tractor, the Model D, in 1923. Selling over 160,000 units over 3 decades, it set the stage for John Deere's dominance in the agricultural sector. Over the years, the company introduced a series of innovations, including the first hay baler in 1957 and the popular Gator utility vehicle in 1993. With such a rich legacy, John Deere became not only a brand, but a symbol of American farming resilience and innovation. Farmers across the country trusted its machines to be reliable, durable, and integral to their livelihoods. Transition. But as Deere's reputation soared, its practices began to shift in ways that would challenge the trust of its loyal customer base. The shift to software-dependent machinery. The 21st century brought a new wave of technological advancement to farming, and John Deere was at the forefront. The company's equipment became more sophisticated, integrating software to optimize performance, monitor efficiency, and assist with precision farming. While this shift made farming more productive, it also introduced significant complications. Software-dependent machinery meant that tractors, harvesters, and other equipment now relied on proprietary technology controlled by John Deere. Farmers who were used to repairing their own equipment with basic tools suddenly found themselves locked out of their machines. Common malfunctions like a broken sensor or a clogged fuel line could no longer be fixed without specialized diagnostic tools and software. This move to technology not only restricted the independence of farmers, but also created a dependency on John Deere's network of authorized dealers. Farmers could no longer repair their equipment on their own or hire third-party technicians. They had to pay hefty fees for repairs that might have cost only a fraction of the price if done independently. The increased reliance on software turned a once straightforward process into a complicated and expensive ordeal, leaving farmers frustrated and seeking answers. Farmers sound the alarm. For generations, farmers prided themselves on their resourcefulness and ability to keep their equipment running, even in the most challenging conditions. However, with John Deere's new restrictions, that independence began to erode. Farmers across the country started voicing their concerns about the financial and operational burden these policies imposed. Imagine a farmer during peak harvest season. A tractor breaks down due to a minor issue such as a faulty sensor. In the past, the farmer could quickly replace the part and get back to work. Now, however, the process is far more cumbersome. The farmer has to call a John Deere technician, wait for availability, and pay for both the part and the labor. This delay could mean missed harvesting opportunities, spoiled crops, and significant financial losses. Farmers also began to point out how these restrictions extended beyond financial implications. The inability to fix their own equipment created an emotional strain, stripping them of the self-reliance that had always been central to their identity. For many, this wasn't just a mechanical issue, it was a fundamental challenge to their way of life. But as frustration turned to outrage, farmers realized that their grievances were part of a much larger battle, a battle that would become known as the Right to Repair movement. The emergence of the Right to Repair movement. In response to John Deere's restrictions, farmers and consumer rights advocates rallied together, forming the Right to Repair movement. This movement wasn't limited to agriculture. It also gained traction in other industries, such as electronics and home appliances. However, farmers were at the forefront as their livelihoods depended heavily on the ability to maintain and repair their tools. The core demand of the right to repair movement is simple: give individuals the ability to repair the equipment they own. This includes access to diagnostic tools, repair manuals, and parts. For farmers, this means being able to fix their tractors and harvesters without being forced to rely on John Deere's monopoly on repairs. The movement quickly gained national attention, with farmers sharing their stories of frustration and financial hardship. One farmer in Nebraska spoke of how he had to spend thousands of dollars to tow his broken tractor to a dealership over 100 miles away, only to wait weeks for a minor repair. Another in Iowa described losing an entire season's harvest because he couldn't get his equipment fixed in time. Advocates for the right to repair movement argue that restricting repair access goes against the basic principles of ownership. If you buy a machine worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, shouldn't you have the right to repair it yourself? This question resonated not only with farmers, but also with lawmakers and consumers across the country. While the right to repair movement gained momentum, John Deere doubled down on its practices, setting the stage for legal battles and escalating tensions between the company and its customers. The cost of control, financial burdens on farmers. Farming has always been an industry of tight margins, where every dollar counts. Yet John Deere's repair policies have added an immense financial strain to an already challenging profession. Farmers not only pay top dollar for the latest equipment, sometimes upwards of $500,000 for a single tractor, but they're also forced to rely on authorized dealers for even minor repairs, significantly increasing costs. Take, for instance, a Kansas farmer who needed a GPS system update for his tractor. The update, which should have cost a fraction of the price, ended up being over $5,000 because it required John Deere certified software. The farmer couldn't simply replace the hardware or software himself, as Deere's proprietary technology blocked access to necessary tools. This scenario is repeated across the country, with farmers shelling out thousands for issues they could once fix themselves. The financial impact extends beyond the farmer. When equipment sits idle during crucial planting or harvesting seasons, it creates a ripple effect in the supply chain. Food production slows, prices rise, and consumers ultimately bear the cost. For farmers, a single delay can lead to the loss of an entire season's revenue. John Deere's policies have turned essential farming tools into financial traps. Farmers who once valued the brand's reliability are now questioning whether they can afford to keep their operations running. The equipment, once seen as a symbol of innovation, is increasingly viewed as an expensive liability. As financial strain deepens, frustrated farmers are not sitting idly by. They're taking the fight to court, challenging John Deere's practices through landmark legal battles. The legal battlefield. Fed up with escalating costs and restrictive policies, farmers have turned to the courts to fight John Deere's monopolistic control. At the heart of their fight is the principle of right to repair, which asserts that owners of equipment should have full access to repair tools, software, and parts. The legal battle is expansive, involving class action lawsuits in multiple states. These lawsuits allege that Deere's refusal to share diagnostic tools and repair manuals violates antitrust laws by creating an unlawful monopoly. This monopoly forces farmers to use authorized John Deere dealers, leaving no room for competition or cost-effective alternatives. The lawsuits also claim that Deere has deliberately designed its software to lock out third-party repair options. One significant legal milestone occurred in 2023 when a U.S. district judge denied John Deere's motion to dismiss a prominent lawsuit. This allowed farmers to continue pursuing damages and shed light on Deere's restrictive practices. Despite this, Deere has employed delay tactics, refusing to provide critical data on repair costs and dealer profits. These delays are designed to wear down the farmers' legal teams and prolong the battle. The stakes are high. If farmers succeed, it could set a precedent that reshapes the entire agricultural equipment industry. Companies across various sectors are watching closely, as the outcome could influence broader debates about ownership and repair rights. While some farmers battle in courtrooms, others are taking matters into their own hands, sometimes through methods that skirt legality. The rise of DIY repairs and hacking. Faced with limited options, farmers are increasingly resorting to hacking their own tractors. The rise of hacked software, often sourced from Eastern Europe, highlights the lengths farmers will go to regain control of their equipment. These software patches allow them to bypass Deere's proprietary locks and repair their machinery on their own terms. The hacking movement has become a form of protest against John Deere's monopolistic grip. Farmers argue that they're not trying to cut corners, but are instead left with no choice. A Nebraska farmer shared how he used hacked firmware to reset his tractor's transmission after a minor issue rendered the machine inoperable. The alternative was waiting weeks for an authorized dealer and paying thousands for a simple repair. Critics of hacking warn that it poses risks, including voided warranties and potential security vulnerabilities. However, for many farmers, the immediate need to get their machinery running outweighs these concerns. Hacking has become a survival tactic, allowing farmers to work efficiently without the delays and costs imposed by Deere's policies. This DIY approach underscores a larger issue. Farmers want to be self-reliant. They're not looking to undermine the industry. They simply want the freedom to maintain and repair the tools they've purchased. Beyond hacking, farmers are banding together to advocate for systemic changes, aiming to reshape the industry's future. Grassroots movements and advocacy. In response to Deere's restrictions, grassroots movements have emerged as a powerful force. Organizations like the American Farm Bureau Federation are rallying farmers and lawmakers to push for right-to-repair legislation. These movements emphasize that the issue isn't just about tractors, it's about the fundamental rights of ownership and fair competition. One of the most significant wins came in 2023 when several Midwestern states passed right-to-repair laws. These laws mandate that companies like John Deere must provide access to diagnostic tools and repair manuals, empowering farmers to fix their own equipment. While these victories are important, they're just the beginning. Advocates are now working to secure federal legislation that could bring nationwide change. Grassroots efforts also include public awareness campaigns. Farmers are sharing their stories online, highlighting the impact of Deere's policies on their livelihoods. Videos of broken machinery and skyrocketing repair bills have gone viral, drawing support from outside the farming community. This broader coalition includes tech experts, consumer rights advocates, and lawmakers who see Deere's practices as a threat to free enterprise. These movements are changing the narrative around farming, showing that the fight for the right to repair is about more than just agriculture. It's about standing up to corporate overreach. As farmers unite to challenge John Deere, the broader implications of their fight are becoming impossible to ignore, setting the stage for a critical industry-wide reckoning. The technology in farming and its consequences. Farming in the 21st century is nearly unrecognizable compared to even a few decades ago, thanks to rapid technological advancements. GPS-guided tractors, precision planting systems, and advanced irrigation software have transformed agriculture, allowing farmers to boost productivity and sustainability. However, these innovations come with a catch: an increasing dependence on proprietary technology controlled by manufacturers like John Deere. The introduction of digital tools promised efficiency, but it has also led to significant challenges. Modern farming equipment is now so technologically complex that even seasoned farmers struggle to diagnose or fix issues without specialized software. For instance, a farmer experiencing a GPS malfunction can no longer simply replace a part. Instead, the tractor may require software calibration, which only John Deere can perform. This reliance on proprietary technology creates frustration, delays, and added expenses. This growing tech dependency has also shifted the balance of power. Companies like John Deere have tightened their grip on farmers by embedding software locks in their equipment. While such measures are often justified as protecting intellectual property, they effectively block farmers from independently repairing or modifying their machinery. As a result, the traditional image of a farmer repairing their tractor with basic tools is rapidly becoming obsolete. What makes this particularly troubling is the disconnect it creates between the promise of innovation and the practical realities faced by farmers. While technology has undeniable benefits, its monopolistic control is leaving farmers disempowered. For many, the question remains: are these technological advancements truly serving the farming community, or are they primarily serving corporate profits? As technology reshapes farming practices, another pressing issue has emerged: the impact of Deere's practices on the supply chain and consumer prices. The supply chain and food prices. The challenges farmers face with John Deere's restrictive policies extend far beyond the fields. When farmers cannot repair their equipment in a timely and cost-effective manner, it has a direct impact on the entire agricultural supply chain. Crops delayed during planting or harvesting can lead to reduced yields, which in turn causes supply shortages and drives up food prices. For example, a farmer experiencing equipment downtime during the narrow planting window for corn may see lower yields. With corn being a staple crop used in everything from livestock feed to biofuels, the repercussions ripple through the economy. Consumers might not immediately connect higher grocery bills with John Deere's repair policies, but the connection is undeniable. A tractor sitting idle on a farm can set off a chain reaction that affects countless industries and households. This issue becomes even more significant during periods of economic uncertainty. Rising inflation, volatile commodity prices, and global supply chain disruptions have already put pressure on food production. Deere's policies exacerbate these challenges by making it harder for farmers to keep their operations running smoothly. The resulting inefficiencies are not just costly for farmers, they're costly for everyone who relies on the food and products they produce. What's particularly frustrating for farmers is the sense that they are being forced to absorb these additional costs. Many argue that Deere's practices are not only harming their livelihoods, but also undermining the stability of the agricultural sector as a whole. This has led to growing calls for accountability and transparency, not just from farmers, but from consumers and policymakers as well. While supply chain issues highlight the broader economic impact, the environmental consequences of Deere's actions represent another crucial dimension of this debate. Environmental consequences of Deere's policies. In an era where sustainability is becoming increasingly important, John Deere's restrictive repair practices are raising significant environmental concerns. At first glance, modern farming equipment may seem environmentally friendly due to its efficiency and precision. However, the inability to repair or reuse equipment undermines these benefits, leading to increased waste and environmental degradation. When farmers are forced to replace expensive parts or entire systems rather than repairing them, the environmental cost is significant. Manufacturing new components requires raw materials, energy, and transportation, all of which contribute to greenhouse gas emissions. In contrast, repairing existing equipment is far more sustainable, reducing the need for new production and minimizing waste. Deere's policies also limit the lifespan of farming equipment. Farmers who cannot repair their machinery may be forced to replace it prematurely, adding to the growing problem of agricultural waste. Discarded equipment often ends up in landfills, where it contributes to pollution and environmental harm. This wastefulness stands in stark contrast to the farming community's ethos of resourcefulness and conservation. Moreover, Deere's restrictive policies hinder innovation in sustainable farming practices. Farmers who have access to repair tools and software are more likely to experiment with modifications that improve efficiency or reduce environmental impact. By denying farmers this access, Deere stifles the potential for grassroots innovation that could benefit the entire industry. For farmers, the stakes couldn't be higher. Their livelihoods, traditions, and communities are all on the line. But amid these challenges, there is also hope. The resilience and determination of the farming community have driven progress before, and they are well positioned to do so again. As John Deere faces mounting pressure from farmers and advocates, other manufacturers are watching closely, preparing to navigate the shifting landscape of the farming industry. Exploring competitor policies. Are they truly better? John Deere's right to repair controversy has cast a long shadow over the farming equipment industry. However, it's worth asking, how do other manufacturers compare? Companies like Case IH, New Holland, and Kubota have also gained traction in the market, presenting themselves as alternatives to Deere. But are they truly better when it comes to empowering farmers? Case IH, a major competitor, has taken steps to emphasize customer relationships, promoting its network of independent dealers and repair shops. Unlike Deere, Case IH is often seen as more lenient with software access, providing some tools that allow farmers to diagnose issues. However, there are still complaints about the availability of proprietary parts, which forces farmers back to Case IH for repairs, albeit less frequently than with Deere. Kubota, known for its smaller, more versatile machinery, offers an entirely different approach. The company markets itself as a brand for independent farmers, focusing on simplicity and ease of use. Its equipment is less reliant on complex software systems, which many see as a selling point. Farmers with smaller operations often prefer Kubota because it allows them to maintain their equipment with minimal outside interference. While Kubota's equipment may not have the advanced features of Deere or Case IH, its straightforward approach appeals to those who value independence. New Holland has been another key player, particularly in Europe. The company has actively participated in discussions about right to repair laws and supports more lenient government policies regarding software and diagnostics. While it still retains some control over proprietary technologies, New Holland has earned praise for its efforts to balance corporate needs with farmer autonomy. As other manufacturers step into the spotlight, farmers must weigh the benefits and drawbacks of switching brands, which leads to the question of whether smaller, localized companies offer an even better path forward. The role of local manufacturers in supporting farmers. While global brands like John Deere and Case IH dominate the farming equipment industry, smaller, local manufacturers are carving out a niche by prioritizing farmer empowerment. These companies often focus on simpler machinery that doesn't rely heavily on proprietary software, providing an alternative for those who feel trapped by corporate giants. Local manufacturers excel in offering personalized support. Farmers who work with smaller companies often find it easier to access repair services, replacement parts, and even custom modifications. These manufacturers are more willing to collaborate with farmers, treating them as partners rather than customers. This approach fosters trust and loyalty, which is becoming increasingly rare in the industry. Additionally, localized companies are more adaptable to specific regional needs. For instance, some manufacturers design equipment tailored for unique soil types, climate conditions, or crop varieties. This specialization gives smaller brands an edge over larger competitors, whose one-size-fits-all approach doesn't always meet the diverse needs of farmers. However, local manufacturers face challenges of their own. Limited production capabilities mean they may not have the resources to compete on a global scale. Furthermore, their machinery may lack the advanced features found in larger brands, which could deter farmers seeking cutting-edge technology. Despite these limitations, the rise of local manufacturers highlights an important point. The farming equipment industry does not have to be monopolized by a few corporate giants. By supporting smaller companies, farmers can help foster a more competitive market that prioritizes their needs. Beyond individual manufacturers, the broader farming community is stepping up to address the challenges posed by corporate dominance, paving the way for collaborative solutions. The growing role of farming cooperatives. As farmers face increasing pressures from companies like John Deere, many are turning to cooperatives as a way to regain control. Farming cooperatives, which pool resources to provide shared equipment, repair services, and knowledge, have existed for decades. However, their importance has grown in recent years as corporate practices have made farming more challenging. Cooperatives offer farmers access to shared machinery, which reduces their dependence on owning expensive equipment outright. For instance, a cooperative might purchase a high-tech harvester and allow members to use it on a rotational basis. This model not only cuts costs, but also reduces the need for each farmer to invest in proprietary software and repair services. Additionally, cooperatives often advocate for farmers' rights, including the right to repair. By organizing as a collective, farmers can exert greater influence over legislation and corporate policies. Many cooperatives have become vocal supporters of right-to-repair initiatives, lobbying governments to enact laws that prioritize farmer autonomy. One of the most significant benefits of cooperatives is the sense of community they foster. Farming is an isolating profession, but cooperatives create opportunities for farmers to share experiences, resources, and solutions. This collaboration helps farmers adapt to challenges while strengthening their collective voice. While cooperatives and local manufacturers provide hope, the global farming landscape is shifting, and international companies are becoming major players in shaping the future of agriculture. International players and the future of farming equipment. As American farmers grapple with John Deere's practices, international companies are making moves to capture market share in the United States and beyond. Brands like Fendt, Massey Ferguson, and Mahindra have been gaining traction by positioning themselves as farmer-friendly alternatives. Fendt, a German manufacturer, has built its reputation on innovation and customer service. Unlike many American brands, Fendt offers comprehensive diagnostic tools and software access, empowering farmers to perform their own repairs. Its tractors are known for their efficiency and advanced technology, making them a popular choice for farmers seeking a balance between autonomy and innovation. Mahindra, based in India, takes a different approach by focusing on affordability and simplicity. The company produces robust, no-frills equipment that appeals to small and mid-sized farmers. Its straightforward designs are easy to maintain, and Mahindra actively supports right-to-repair initiatives. This approach has earned Mahindra a loyal following among farmers who prioritize practicality over luxury. Massey Ferguson, part of the global AGCO corporation, has also been expanding its presence in the United States. The company has adopted adopted a customer-centric approach, offering flexible repair options and support for independent mechanics. Massey Ferguson's efforts to provide reliable and accessible equipment have positioned it as a serious contender in the farming equipment market. The rise of international players signals a shift in the global farming industry. As farmers demand more control over their equipment, companies that prioritize transparency and farmer empowerment are gaining an edge. This competition could ultimately lead to a more balanced and farmer-focused industry. The farming equipment industry is at a crossroads. While John Deere's practices have sparked controversy, they have also ignited a movement for change. Farmers are exploring alternatives, from cooperatives to international brands, in their quest for autonomy and fairness. What do you think the future holds for the farming community? Are global players the answer, or should farmers continue to push for reforms from American giants like John Deere? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.